What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I got a super awesome review video for you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the Beast Decap Broadhead. Now, I did use this broadhead on my 2026 spring turkey hunt. I did fill a tag, and one of my main goals going into it was to obviously harvest a bird, but I really wanted a complete decap on a bird. I know a lot of people that hunt with decap broadheads sometimes only get a partial decap, and I don't know what it is about getting a full decap, but it's something super special when you pull it off and it goes perfectly. And I did get a full decap on a bird. I did get it all on film. I'm going to share the footage with you guys on this video. It is absolutely insane. But mainly I want to talk to you guys about just my overall experience with the Beast Decap Broadheads. Now, they do offer this in a couple different varieties. They offer it in a 3-inch, and then they also offer it in a 4-inch, which is what I purchased for $89. Now, if you start looking at some of the other decap broadheads that are available, I think that Beast Broadheads is giving you the best bang for your buck, because you're getting 4 broadheads, you're getting a field point, and then you're getting a complete arrow build. And I was actually very impressed with this arrow build. Now, obviously they are trying to accommodate a very wide variety of shooters, from various poundage and then also various draw lengths. Me being on the shorter side of draw length, running 27.5 inches, I didn't have any issues with this making contact with my sight. Now, what I will say is, if you go with this, that is the first thing that you want to double check before you even put a broadhead on here, is put it in your bow, draw it back, and then see if it's going to make contact with your sight. If it is, then you are going to have to make some adjustments to your setup in order to shoot this. Once you figure out that you have arrow clearance, the next step is to kind of sight this in at 15 yards. Now, again, very impressed with the overall accuracy of this. It did not take me long to get this sighted in, and I was shooting, you know, I couldn't have got any better shots with this setup. And then really the next step is to shoot an actual broadhead at a pillow. Now, Walmart sales on pillows in turkey season they're pricey, a spike in it. They're probably wondering why, but these decap broadheads are becoming very popular because in a turkey hunting situation, obviously with a bow, you have a very small vital window. A lot of people that hunt with a bow for turkey and are using typical mechanical or fixed blade broadheads, if you're not hitting that bird perfectly, you run a high risk of losing the bird. Whereas if you're taking a headshot with a very accurate setup like this, your chances of recovering that bird are obviously extremely high. And it's really no different than if you're using a shotgun, right? Like, a lot of people see this and think that it's overkill for a bird, but if you're using a shotgun, you're shooting a bird in the head anyway. So if you're using a bow, why not do the exact same thing, like I said, to increase your chances of harvesting that bird. Now, one thing that you want to keep in mind is when you go to hunt, you really want to kind of plan your hunt accordingly to the most effective range that you're going to get with this setup. Now, ideally, you're really not shooting past 10 yards unless you're planning on doing some extensive tuning on your setup. Now, I mean, obviously, some people may have different experiences. I didn't even test it past 10 yards because I knew that I wasn't planning on taking a shot past 10 yards, and I set my decoys up accordingly, so to really draw that bird in as close as I could to limit how far I was actually shooting. Now, when that bird came in, I had my decoys probably set up at, they're probably like 6-7 yards from the blind. The bird was a little bit behind the decoys, but if I had to guess, he was well within 10 yards. And after practicing with this arrow and seeing how accurate it was, I was completely confident in the shot. I was kind of waiting or hoping that the bird was going to give me a frontal shot so I could just aim right at its neck. That never happened, but when he gave me a broadside shot, like I said, I was extremely confident in the overall accuracy of this, and I decided to send it, and I could not have squared that bird in the neck any better than I did, and I got a 100% full decap on that bird. Now, it was, I mean, like I said, there is something special about doing a full decap on a bird. I was stoked. I was very happy. I was very pleased with the overall performance. I could not recommend these broadheads enough. And like I said, I am not sponsored by Beast. I buy this stuff with my own money. I bought it all from Sunrise Archery. And like I said, I was extremely impressed and couldn't recommend these more. Now, real quick, let's talk about the current state of the Broadhead before we kind of get into the bow setup. You guys will see here that the blades on this Broadhead did take a pretty bad beating. Not the top blades, which is kind of surprising, but the bottom blades are definitely bent back. Like if I did a comparison of a fresh Broadhead that has not been shot, they're definitely bent back, and then they're also kind of bent a little bit to where, like, I mean, this Broadhead is not reusable. I know some people have, again, taken shots at birds, gotten decaps, and they said that the condition of their Broadheads were fine. So I think obviously it's all dependent on where you hit the bird and what happens afterwards. Like I said, when I shot my bird, you can see that the arrow did take a pretty aggressive nosedive into the field. I have no idea if it hit a rock or a stump, or not a stump, but a root, anything really hard that bent these blades back. But you can definitely hear it in the video that it definitely hit that bird, and it hit that bird pretty hard, and you got a clean cut. So I'm completely okay with the condition of these. I was very impressed on how these Broadheads perform. So I will definitely continue to run these going forward. The only thing that I will probably do is I will buy more of these Beast Broadhead arrows, because I only had one with the package, and I didn't have time to buy additional arrows. So I did actually have 2 backup arrows with 2 regular Broadheads. I didn't run Beast Broadheads because those are expensive for turkey, but I did have a couple dead meats that I was fine with burning on a bird if I needed to make a backup shot. But definitely super impressed with the Beast Decap Broadheads. Now real quick, let's give you guys a rundown of the bow setup. My bow's a little dirty, but I know if I don't do this, then I'm going to get a bunch of questions. So obviously I did pick up the new Mach 33 with the FDS cams, but because I was hunting in a blind, I really wanted to run a shorter axle to axle bow. Also, my Mach 33 is set up at 77 pounds, whereas this one is set up at 70, and this one also has the EC2 cam. So very smooth drawing bow. I knew that I was going to be able, or I knew that I was going to have to make as limited movement as possible. So obviously having a lower poundage bow is going to make that a lot easier. So like I said, that was kind of the main thought process with running this. As far as my rest goes, I'm running my older Hamskea Epsilon. This is not the R7. This was the previous one. So ran the same stabilizers, and then for the sight I went with the new HHA XV3. Again, I did not put a sight tape on this. This sight is actually on 10 thousandths pin, and again, no issues with pin brightness with HHA. They do a fantastic job on that. I had the mechanical rheostat wide open. I was in one of those tideweed blinds, so thanks to Chase for letting me borrow that. That is a 270 blind, so 3 of the walls are see-through. That obviously allows a little bit more light to come in, and I think that did play a little bit of or have an effect on the overall pin brightness. Like I said, 10 thousandths pin, no issue with seeing the pin, no issue with pin brightness at all whatsoever. When that bird stepped out broadside, like I said, I put my pin on his head, held as steady as I could. I was pretty jacked up. You can see it in the video, but sent the Broadhead and squared that bird exactly where you wanted to get a full decap. It was probably one of the funnest turkey hunts that I've had in a while. But like I said, just very impressed with this overall setup and the value that you get. Like I said, bang for the buck. I don't think you can go wrong with the Beast setup. But that's it for this video. Any other questions, leave me a comment below. I'm curious to see what you guys think of the hunt. Please remember to subscribe. Your guys' support greatly helps us out, keeps us doing what we're doing. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you guys on the next one.